Now we're going to do the fun one next. So just brace yourself. This is, I saw this headline and I couldn't not click on it. I'm just like, I'm going to cover this on Twit Tweets. I don't know if it's true, because here's the thing. The only source for this is the person say so, and the fact that their arm is scratched up a bit. So like, it's not a well-sourced article, but I think it's funny enough that I'm just going to pretend like it's real, okay?
Okay.
A woman was attacked by a snake that fell from the sky. Then a hawk dived in.
What?
And so here's a picture of her showing, like, just gesturing with her arm that got attacked to where on her property she got attacked by a snake that fell out of the sky on her.
Okay, then.
So yeah, that's Peggy Jones. So they were doing their yard work, and then a snake fell from the clear blue sky, wrapping itself tightly around Mrs. Jones's right forearm. I immediately screamed and started swinging my arm to shake the snake off, Miss Jones said. I was screaming, "Jesus, help me, please! Jesus, help me!" And when she called to Jesus for help, the snake wrapped itself around her arm more tightly and hissed and lunged at her face and like tried to bite her glasses. But then Jesus helped her in the form of a hawk, because like the snake fell because the hawk dropped it. So the hawk is trying to get his dinner back. So it scratched her arm up while it was trying to get the hawk.
Okay. But from her perspective, the snake came out of a portal in the sky.
Yeah, no, you're just out there doing your yard work, and a snake suddenly pops onto your arm. He's like, "Ah, fuck! What the hell's going on here?" And then a hawk attacks you after you say, "Please, Jesus, save me." So on the fourth try, the hawk successfully uncoiled the snake and flew away. The horrific ordeal, Mrs. Jones said, lasted about 15 to 20 seconds. And this is my favorite part. Her husband was outside with her at the time. He didn't see this happen. But I love the way that this is worded. Wendell Jones, her husband, eventually noticed that his wife was screaming and running in a zigzag pattern and flailing her arms. So, like, eventually he noticed that a hawk and a snake was attacking his wife.
Imagine getting caught in that crossfire. Damn nature, you scary.
So he promptly helped her into the truck, and then they drove to the hospital where she got stitched up or whatever. Like, most of the story is not really that funny because, like, this woman's traumatized, okay? Like, I feel bad for her. I do. But it's still a funny story. You gotta give me that. But, yeah, no, like, she gets bad dreams now, and this is not her first snake attack that she's had happen to her, so she doesn't like snakes anymore. Especially now that they, like, fly out of the sky at her. Anyway, I like the last sentence, though. It says, "I consider myself to be the luckiest person alive," she said. "I was attacked by a snake and a hawk, and I lived to tell about it." It's like, do people usually die to hawk attacks? Like, it's just a hawk. Like, yeah, it's gonna hurt your fucking arm. Yeah, you need some stitches and some antibiotics or whatever.
I mean, there's a razor sharp claws. They're a bird of prey.
Yeah,
it's a predator.
Yeah,
You're gonna
but they're not predators of humans, though. So it's like,
not generally speaking.
I would expect, like, if a hawk attacked me now, I would expect to survive. I would expect to be damaged and have to go to the hospital and get patched up, but I wouldn't expect to die. Anyway, I'm blasphemous as fuck. So Jesus, if you're out there, send a snake and a hawk after me. You sent it after this lady who actually believes in you and expects you to help her. If a snake falls on me right now and then a hawk follows it up, I will become a Christian.
It ain't happening, though. It's not coming through the...
Where you at, Jesus?
He's doing his best, okay? It's his day off. It's always his day off. Yeah. It has been for 2,000 years.
Well, that's actually a Christian apologetic, is that we are in the seventh day, and the seventh day is when God's rest.
Day is forever.
And that's why, well, this is the people that, like, make the Bible work with This is the people that make the Bible work with long ages and stuff like that. They'll say that, like, well, the days are like the different epochs of time, and we're currently in the seventh day, and that's the day when God rests, and that's why miracles don't happen anymore, because God is resting. So, like, that literally is an apologetic for why God is not doing anything anymore. Let's get to some tweets. We actually got through the news articles fairly quick today, even though there were 3 of them. Where are the tweets? There are the tweets. Bridget Gabriel, because she's always fun. So Bud Light will never be popular again. They went woke. So I looked up Bud Light stock for this. Well, Anheuser-Busch stock. They are, like, they're down from where they were just before the Dylan Mulvaney thing. But, like, if you look at their 5-year stock price, they're about where they normally are. So, like, they're still doing fine. Pizza Hut will never be popular again. They went woke. Pizza Hut stock is actually up right now. Let me make sure that's still true, because, you know, stock prices change. So
I like how in 3 years, nobody's going to remember this controversy.
No, not at all. So in the past year, Pizza Hut stock, well, sorry, Yum Brands, because parent companies and all that shit. But so the Pizza Hut stocks is up 11% in the last year. Seems like they're doing fine. Bed Bath & Beyond, yeah, their stock is down, but that's not because they went woke. That's just because nobody shops at Bed Bath & Beyond. Like, I can't even tell you what they sell aside from towels and sheets.
Like, you can get different lotions and stuff. The thing is, Bed Bath & Beyond is a niched version of a commodity that you can get for $1.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there's Bed Bath & Beyond doesn't really have a point. So, like, it's got nothing to do with being woke. But yeah, no, they're probably going to go broke. But what really made me kind of want to pick this one is because I saw it around the same time as I saw the article saying that the Barbie movie had hit $1 billion at the box office. And it's just like, everybody, like, all the conservatives are complaining that the Barbie movie's woke, but it's breaking box office records. So, like, is it go woke, go broke? Or is it go woke and make $1 billion at the box office?
It's go woke, AstroTurf a movie, and pretend that it's doing better than it is.
You talking about Sound of Freedom? The one where the guy who financed it has been arrested for child sex trafficking?
So
not child sex trafficking, but like kidnapping.
No, it was child kidnapping. But so the guy,
yeah, but it wasn't. The charge wasn't specifically sex trafficking. I wanted to make sure I got it accurate.
So the thing is, with that, it was one of the guys who funded it on Kickstarter. So it's more about the people who are willing to throw money at that being hypocritical.
Wasn't he like one of the significant funders though? Like it wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't just like a couple $100 or something. It was like he was. I don't know. I don't know the details, but I know that he was claiming that he rescued it from Disney. So to me, that says that it's more significant than just I funded a bit on Kickstarter. That's like I funded it a lot, like enough to compete with Disney. But still, like the kind of people that are funding that movie are the ones. And I actually experienced firsthand, like I talked about how people that criticize the movie get called pedophiles and stuff, but I had not experienced it at that point last time we talked about it. But I now have, because I posted something about, you know, how it's not doing well, or I commented that like it's based on a true story in the same way Gladiator is, in that some of the people in the story have names that match real people that exist. And that's where the similarities with reality end. And then people are like, oh, well, what's on your hard drive? Why would you oppose a movie that is against human trafficking? Like, heavily implying that I am a human trafficker and that I am a pedophile because I think their movie is stupid. And so it's like, I don't like your movie does not automatically mean I'm a pedophile. It just means I don't like your movie.
People get so ideologically attached to these things for no good reason. I haven't seen the movie, and I don't know if I ever will. I don't know if I care to. But if I don't care to, it doesn't. It's not because I have a particular opinion on kids.
So here's the thing: I want to see the movie because I know the God Awful Movies guys are going to do that movie at some point.
Yeah,
and I like to watch the movies that they watch because then you understand the jokes a little bit better because like you can actually see what they were talking about. So I kind of want to see the movie, but I also really don't want to financially support those people. Because it's not like they're actually against child sex trafficking. They're just like the people who made the movie are grifters, and the people who are supporting the movie are the kind of people that either A, they are themselves child sex traffickers that want to distract from it by, you know, bringing attention to what is essentially a non-issue when it comes to trafficking. Because let's be real here, when it comes to trafficking, it's usually done by family members. It's not done by people smuggling kids across the border. It's the uncle kidnapped the kid. It's the ex-husband who is the father kidnapped the kid.
It's the same thing as when somebody says, like, hey, we need to protect people from trans rapists or rapists coming from across the border, when most sexual assault that happens is from somebody you know. Most sexual assault that happens is from a family member. It's from somebody close to you, because those are the people who know that they can keep you quiet. They're the people who are conveniently near you. Like, generally speaking, across the board, it is the people who you least expect it from, not the boogeymen from across the way.
Yeah, that's actually so that's something that, like, with my stepkids, with my partner's kids, anytime there is anything that, and she will back me up on this, is that anytime there's anything that happens where they get hurt or there could be some implication of impropriety, I'm like immediately be like, okay, I need to tell you what happened. I need to give you all the details and like why I did what I did, explain exactly how everything happened. Because like, even if something simple like, oh, they tripped and fell and bumped their head, I want to make sure that, you know, I am a safe person for your kids to be around. I want to be completely open with you so that you know that like I have the best interest of your kids in mind. I'm not like, and like, I'm very much aware of that. And the funny thing is, like, she trusts me implicitly. Like, she wouldn't, like, she's just like, yeah, kids hurt themselves, it's fine, whatever, you don't need to give me all these details. But I'm just like, no, I'm thinking about, because I approach, like, we kind of, we're different enough in our parenting styles, and I'm kind of anal about certain things that she kind of lets slide, and like that has caused a little bit of friction sometimes. But for the most part, it seems to work pretty. Like, the age gap is different enough between our kids that it's like, okay, well, we can parent your kids the way that you're comfortable with, and my kids the way that I'm comfortable with. And the fact that there's a difference there doesn't really, like, it's not really apparent because the age gap is so big. But like, I'm basically like, I want to make sure that all of my cards are on the table. You know exactly what happened, so that like not even the appearance of impropriety can show up.
Yeah.
Because I am aware, like, I am a person that, like, I'm involved in these kids' life. I have the opportunity. So like, I am the kind of person that statistically am more likely to abuse them in that way than someone else. So like, I'm not worried about the Mexicans crossing the borders. I'm worried about myself. Like, I'm not worried about myself in the idea that I think I might actually do something. I just want to make sure that it's like everything is open, so that's not even a possibility. If that makes sense.
Well, again, what you're basically doing is you are projecting on yourself what you would expect any other parent would give in regards to your kids. If there's an injury on the kid, you want to make sure that that parent is still trustworthy with your kid because you're a responsible parent. So you do the same for other people's kids.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It feels like the baseline that you would accept from people.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, if my kids show up with an injury, I just assume that they did something stupid. Because I know my kids.
You know they can do the dumb.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they came screaming to me at some point and were like, he pulled my finger back farther than it's supposed to go. I'm like, okay, were you guys play fighting? Yes. I'm like, what do you want me to do? Like, you play fighting and then you got hurt. Like, either stop play fighting or just accept the fact that there's some risks that come with play fighting.
You know what you need to do in that situation, Rhino? Very, very simple. You need to play the video of the guy going, all right, as you can see from this graph, the more you fuck around, the more you find out.
So actually, I just listened to a podcast. It was, I think, Serious Inquiries Only. Thomas Smith, he interviewed someone about how, like, you shouldn't avoid swearing around your kids. Just let them hear it. They'll figure out contextually that, like, these are words you don't say at school or whatever. Like, they'll figure that stuff out. And then I'm thinking back to my partner's kids, and it's like, she did raise them with that kind of an attitude where, like, yeah, I'm not going to censor myself around them. And so they do know the swear words. But the thing that they said wouldn't happen with kids, they'd figure it out contextually or whatever. It's like, no, her kids are just like, nope. They see that the adults react to it, so I'm gonna say it. Fuck. It's like, okay, maybe we need to actually pretend like those are bad words now, just like for the sake of their social life.
Yeah.
Ooh, I have 69 concurrent viewers now here in episode 69.
On 69?
Yeah.
Nice.
Just thought I'd say that. Like, it's probably
So,
it's not going to stay consistent, but
so we have a problem then. We have a problem then. Very, very specific problem.
what's that?
I have 127 viewers on my end. I need those viewers to go ruin Rhino's number by going over to the watering hole channel. Like, specifically, here, just follow this link. It's being spammed in my chat right now.
Oh no, I got 70.
I need you. You
You guys bombed me
enough.
with one person.
You haven't fucked it up enough. Fuck up his number a lot. In fact, actually, do yourself a favor. Subscribe to him to screw up that number too.
Okay, I'm gonna insert an ad right now just to fuck with them. I never insert ads. I hate ads in live streams. I'm so sorry for doing that. YouTube keeps popping up telling me now would be a good time to insert an ad. So I'm like, okay, what the fuck? I'm sorry, guys. I'm at 76 now, though, so... Anyway, we should get on to a second tweet. We got Greg Kokel says, God does not will things arbitrarily. He wills them according to a standard. But the standard is not outside of God, making him contingent. The standard is his flawless moral character.
His flawless moral character that has never ever changed.
Yeah, so he doesn't do things arbitrarily. He just does things in line with his character, which he can't do things out of line with. And it's because he's all powerful. He could change that if he wanted to, but he doesn't want to. So it ended up being actually, yes, kind of arbitrarily. Jassa says, wow, Rhino bending the knee to the Google overlords. Oh, Plow King says, what's an ad? YouTube Premium. Woo! Yeah, YouTube Premium for the win. Now, there is some confusion about this, but YouTube Premium actually is much better for creators than not YouTube Premium.
By a country mile.
Yeah, by a lot. So, like, I would much... Like, I know some people have qualms about giving money to Google, and I understand that, and I'm not gonna argue with you on that. That's a valid point. But as far as creators are concerned, if I had the choice between getting 1,000 views of people who would all see an ad or 1,000 views of people who are all YouTube Premium subscribers, I'll take the YouTube Premium subscribers because that's more money for me. So if you're worried about subscribing to YouTube Premium, meaning you're taking ad revenue away from YouTubers, you're not. They love the premium subscribers.
Yeah, one person watching a video with YouTube Premium is equivalent to like 10 people watching a video without an ad blocker.
Pretty sure it's more than, it's like an order of magnitude.
It's insane how helpful it is.
Yeah. Anyway, so this is the Euthyphro dilemma, basically. It's like, is something moral because God likes it, or is it moral because God likes what is moral? It's like, and they try to get out of that by saying like, oh no, God's character is moral, therefore it's not a standard that's outside of God, but it is a standard that's outside enough for us to kind of escape it through sophistry, basically. Mark Caesar says, stick it in, Vice Rhino. Ads. He's talking about ads. Ooh, Eddie McCoy is from Newark, Ohio. Did you vote against the number 1 thing? Resolution 1 or whatever it was? Issue 1.
I would hope so. If, you didn't have that unfortunate situation where you didn't know it was the thing that was happening.
Neuromtopus says 10 times is an order of magnitude, though, but Suris didn't say 10 times. He said, or did you say 10 times?
I said 10 times.
Okay. Well, fuck me then.
That is, in fact, what I said.
That is, in fact, an order of magnitude. You are correct. I'm sorry. Maybe I meant 2 orders of magnitude?
I don't know.
I think it might be 2. I'm just going to say 2.
You needed the bigger number. It was very important that you had the bigger number. Without the bigger number, how could you possibly survive?
Dr. Tasha says, how do we know that his standard is moral? And that really is the question here, is like, how do you actually know that God's standard is the moral standard? Even if we grant that saying that his character is the moral standard, and that's how you get out of the Euthyphro dilemma, because somehow, for some reason, his character isn't the same thing as his opinion. But then how do we know that that actually is moral? Because humans have vastly different opinions on what is moral and what is not moral. So, like, clearly morality is not written on our hearts, like Christians like to claim. So how do we know that something is actually moral?
Well, you see, we did the thing, and a guy said he didn't like that, and I'm pretty certain that's a pretty good, that's a good enough estimate for me. He didn't like the thing I did to him, so I chose not to do it again.
So, Rosina says, Dear Sky Daddy, does that mean I'm supporting Kent with my premium subscription? He asked to come into my room to judge the cleanliness on yesterday's video. I said no. Yeah, if you watch Kent Hoven's crap, unfortunately you are supporting him. And like, yeah, I have YouTube Premium, so that, like, when I'm hunting for a video to respond to, I watch a lot of apologist stuff, and I am very much aware that I have YouTube Premium. That what you can do is like log out and watch it with an ad blocker enabled if you really want to. I just basically come to terms with the fact that, like, my 10 cents is not going to amount to much on its own, and realistically, like, when I send people, when I link to the original video, a bunch of people click on it, so like no matter who I respond to, I am supporting them to a certain degree. So I just have to have faith in the idea that I do more good than bad with what I do.
You have to. It's with everything. If you look at things as a series of binaries, you can come to a conclusion where you're always paralyzed. You're unable to do anything because everything has some measure of bad. Going to Walmart has some measure of bad, so don't do it. Okay, but is going to Walmart helping you survive? Do you consider your survival a net good? Is Walmart cheaper than going to a different store that you might not be able to afford? Well, in that case, taking that lesser of evils is a better option for you. But also, is taking the time right now to stress over this negatively affecting your mental health? Because if that's the case, then maybe you should just stop. Nobody's pure. Just do the best you can. And if everybody collectively does the best they can, we make a better world. Imagine that.
So I watched a really bad Christian movie with my partner the other night, and one of the lines in it was like, "Oh, you're pregnant. Stressing is bad for the baby, so you can't stress while you're pregnant. So just stop stressing." Like, oh, thanks. That was so helpful. Just telling me to not stress because it'll kill my baby if I stress. That's going to help me not stress. Thanks a lot for that. Vandalia sent a tip through PayPal. Says, not sure if I made the joke here or not, but I know why the Gospels all contradict each other. Each was written on a different Earth of the Marvel Universe. Sure. Why not? Makes just as much sense as the actual apologetic. Probably makes more sense, actually, because that would explain how there's different women at the tomb.
It depends on which book you're reading. That count changes depending on where you are.
It does. So if everyone was written in an actual different universe, then there's no contradiction. It's just a different universe.
Oy, oy, oy.
Now you just gotta come to terms with the fact that sometimes they contradict themselves. Anyway, Lobos says the January 6th committee destroyed evidence that could have exonerated the president and the protesters and President Trump. This evidence might have also implicated Pelosi and the FBI. Subpoena all of them immediately, including the 2 Republican cowards who got run out of Congress.
But wait, if the January 6th committee destroyed evidence,
how do you know it exonerates everyone?
How do you know? Like, if the evidence is gone, then what measure are we using to determine the measure that the evidence is good for that?
So this is based on Trump sending out on Truth Social about saying that, like, now that he has subpoena power because of his indictment, he's subpoenaed a bunch of stuff from January 6th, and there was a bunch of stuff missing. Now, I looked into this. There's one news article about missing January 6th stuff. It's from Fox News, so take it with a grain of salt. But even in a Fox News article on this, the things that are missing are things like, oh, they didn't save a video of an interview because they had the transcript. And videos take up a lot more space on a hard drive than a transcript. So it's not like stuff is missing. It's like we kept the transcript instead of the actual video. And it was like for like subcommittees of the January 6th committee that didn't end up doing anything. It was like, yeah, they did enough work to find out that they wouldn't be needed, so they were disbanded. And so some of their video stuff was like, yeah, we'll keep the transcript, but we don't really need the video. Like that's what they're talking about here. At least according to the Fox News article that I read about it.
So basically, all the evidence that matters is still there.
Yeah. 100%. And you can go see it. Like, there's a website archive of all of the evidence that has been made public through the January 6th Commission. I forget the website, but like, I'm sure you can Google it. It's like January 6th Commission documents or something. But yeah, Trump is complaining that they deleted documents, but they didn't. Or like the ones that they did, they were like secondary copies or something. Or like
I deleted a photo of some random person eating a cookie. That could have been important evidence that exonerated me. No, it was a cookie.
Yeah.
It was a cookie, sir. Do you need a cookie?
I do need a cookie. I usually need a cookie. Anyway, next we get to Marjorie Taylor Greene, who says President Trump is being arrested. The deep state is coming after him, all because he committed the crime of winning the 2016 election? So is she admitting that he lost the 2021? Because the crime wasn't winning the election. The crime was lying about having lost the election in 2020, and not even just the lying about it, because like point number 4 in the indictment is like, no, we recognize that he's allowed to lie about it. It's the fact that he took actions to subvert it. That is what we're indicting him for. It's not that he lied about it. It's that he took actions to act, like, to try and hinder the government from acting the way it's supposed to act, with the idea that his lies were actually truth, even when he knew they were lies. And then she says Joe Biden and his DOJ are conducting the most corrupt election interference campaign we've ever seen. Just a reminder that a grand jury is what chose to indict Trump, which is just a bunch of regular ass Americans who are shown the evidence. Like, it's not Joe Biden, it's not the Department of Justice, it's just regular ass people who they show them the evidence and be like, yeah, that's a crime, let's indict.
Hey, so I'm just going to say this as somebody who's from her district. if something terrible were to happen to her, like her slipping on a banana, I'd laugh.
Absolutely.
Just, I'm not saying that statistically more bananas should be put in the pathway of Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene.
I mean, I feel like that's something you could get away with. I feel like that's a ridiculous enough thing. I feel like you could get away with that. If you have the opportunity to put a banana peel down in front of Marjorie Taylor Greene, I'm comfortable saying go ahead and do that.
Hey. Well, what else do we have here if it can get us away from Marjorie?
Okay. 5
We're
Solas.
on episode 69. Keep us away from her.
69! Where's the fan art? I didn't have any fan art for 69. I mean, no, I do, but I didn't have any fan art that I could use on YouTube, okay?
Oh, you can use it on YouTube. Just censor it appropriately.
Should I do that live? Okay, keep my audio. Read the tweet for the audience while I censor the friggin' fan art.
Let's see here. How to believe the world is millions of years old. 1, reject the clear teaching of God's word. Well, nowhere in God's word does it list how old the world is, so they're already wrong. 2, listen to biased secular scientists.
No, if you add the things, stuff happens.
Stream seems to be there we go.
Yeah,
if you add the things, stuff happens. No, the Bible doesn't clearly say it, so I'm not running with it.
But no, you add up the Bishop Usher, that's his name.
Add up the dates. Said, listen to biased secular scientists who want to explain origins without God. So here's the thing. Everybody is biased, so that's a non-argument. As for secular scientists, look, if the way they're operating functions, then it looks like this methodology works. So, meh. 3, ignore any scientist who thinks science supports young Earth and creation. So, it's not that those scientists get ignored, 5 Solas. It's that when those scientists say that, when asked for evidence as to why that is the fact, none of their claims tend to be supported by peer review. None of their experiments tend to be replicatable. And we tend to actually find the other scenario, the world being several billion years old, to have more evidence when we do things like radiometric dating, for instance. That's why they get patently ignored. Not because they believe in the Bible. Plenty of people who are scientists believe in the Bible. It's that when they do the science, they fucking suck at it. And then he says it's pretty simple. Yeah, it's pretty simple. You have 3 rules that all suck.
Right. I wasn't listening. Just so you know.
Well, I guess that means you also can't follow up on anything either, so damn it. You were too busy staring at porn. This is an intervention,
I was
Rhino.
censoring the porn, okay?
Which required you staring at it. Do better. Be better.
Let's not make source visible. There we go. Boop.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 69, right?
But it's.
I mean, not really. It could transition to that.
69.
It could transition.
69.
Sure.
It's stuff. It's definitely stuff.
So it's 96.
Kinda. Yeah. Kinda. Well, no, it's not. And they said you could have asked me to censor it for you.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. So there we go. For episode 69, you got to see me and Suris naked. And for the uncensored version, go somewhere else. I don't know where it could be found. Yeah, no, 96 would be us back to back. So yeah, that's not 96.
It's a backwards 9 and a 6.
Yeah, sure.
Kind of.
So I'm just gonna assume that everything that you said about this tweet was something. Oh, it's 66. Yeah, sure, but not really.
But we're not both facing the same. We're not in the same orientation.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm just assuming that everything you said about that was good and I would approve of. So Next up, we've got reformed her something something. I don't know who that is.
She reformed her orgasm.
Sure, let's go with that. So I asked my husband if he wanted me to vote this year. He said going forward, he doesn't want me to vote. And I couldn't be more relieved. I truly think things like voting and law enforcement should be reserved for men only. Prayer hands.
What?
So
Why do
women
you want
shouldn't be
fewer rights?
Women shouldn't be allowed to vote. We should have fewer rights for women. And then the transformed wife responded to this, because of course she did, saying, I would love to not vote. Okay, then don't vote.
Yeah, just don't. Just don't do it.
You're allowed to not vote. You can do that. You don't need to make it illegal for other women to vote in order to not vote. You can just choose not to vote. And she says, and it would be great if no women ever voted again. Let the men lead. It's like, I think we need more women in leadership roles. I think that'd be better for the world.
I think that men and women both have an equal ability to lead. I, however, think that they should both have an equal opportunity to lead. And this, of course, includes non-binary people as well. If you find yourself in the middle, I'm not trying to exclude you. I'm just being very, very lazy. The reality is, when somebody like the transformed wife tries to do this shit, they're not saying, I don't want to vote. What they're saying is,
I don't want women to vote.
I think other women should not have the opportunity to vote. Because she has the opportunity to not vote right now. She can choose not to.
Absolutely. If this is your position, if you don't think women should vote, if you're a woman, you're allowed to not vote. That's a thing that you're allowed to do. I mean, personally, I think that everyone should be required to vote. I think we should do what Australia did and say, like, if you don't vote, you get a fine. But I mean, you'd have to change stuff. You'd have to make voting easier. You couldn't just say, if you don't vote, you get a fine, and then leave it in this weird thing where voting day is not a holiday and you need to work and it takes like 6 hours to vote, so you can't possibly take the day off work. Like, you can't do that shit. You gotta like make it easy to vote, and then also if you don't vote, you pay a fine, sort of thing. Like, get the turnout up high. And Republicans don't support that because they know that when turnout is high, they lose.
Yeah. It's almost like how in places like, other states we've talked about today that have to try to change the way they do their constitution, or try to very hard, because they know that the majority of people don't agree with the policies they're trying to push through.
Yeah. Anyway, Donald J. Trump says, remember, these indictments aren't legit. They were all thrown up at me quickly and haphazardly, including the local ones.
Wait, what? They were not thrown up quickly.
These have been simmering for 6 years now. 7 years.
Years. Nothing about this is quick.
No, not at all. And they've been thrown up at me quickly and haphazardly, including the local ones, by my political opponent, Crooked Joe Biden. Remember what I said earlier about how it's not the Democrats that are doing this. It's not Joe Biden that's doing this. It's not the Department of Justice that's doing this. It's a grand jury of regular old everyday Americans that are doing this.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's not a partisan issue. It's just a legal one.
Yeah, so, nope, didn't mean to highlight the bot comment. Rosina Keller says, in real life, Rhino wearing the Disney animated Robin Hood costume, and in real life, Suris wearing a Sonic onesie. They're both quietly screaming ooh at each other.
I mean, when I begin my subathon,
fan art suggestion?
When I begin my subathon on Monday, I am being forced into the Sonic onesie. That's
okay.
That's already been decided.
Well, I mean, I feel like I want to see this fan art. I enjoy seeing the fan art of us. I know you don't like it, but I love it. I think it's fantastic.
It's always porn.
Train Freak says, I finally made it to a live tweets. Train Freak, you are someone who has enough subscribers of your own that I get notifications when you comment on my videos. And every time I see it, I'm like, oh, This is a person that actually has like a platform of their own that watches my stuff. There's only a few people that I get that for. There's also I'm blanking on his name. Aaron Grooves, I think. Yes, Aaron Grooves. Aaron Grooves watches my videos occasionally. I think he was a patron of mine for a bit. He might still be a patron of mine. But like he's got some really neat like music videos. Like he does a cover of the what's it called? Stranger Things theme that is like really amazing.
Yeah.
And he was the first person that like when I started getting notifications like, oh, one of those like super talented like musician people watches my channel? Like, that's amazing. But yeah, so I like it when popular people that are popular for things that have nothing to do with atheism, like Train Fan, as you might guess from the name, is
like trains?
Has nothing to do with atheism. It's like train spotting.
Yeah.
Like I've checked out your channel. If you're into train spotting, check out Train Fan.
Jack
Train
and Quill,
Freak.
Train Freak.
Train Freak.
Jack and Quill just said in my chat, can you have Rhino go over the fan art he wanted again?
I don't know. I forget. Just rewind the stream.
You can't do it on my end, so go to Vice Rhino's stream. There was a link provided to everybody.
Should I add another ad?
Here.
I'm gonna add another ad just to punish them for not paying attention.
My God.
Punish me, Daddy. Oh, I've apparently confused Train Freak with the Train Freak. Did not know that channel exists. Okay, maybe that's possible, but there's a Train Spotter channel that comments on my videos occasionally that I get notifications from. I assumed it was you. So the Rubik's Cube looks familiar as well, so I thought so. But if you don't do videos, it's probably not you. Anyway, yeah, my whole point with bringing up Donald Trump here is that it's not Joe Biden, it's not the Department of Justice, it's not Jack Smith. It's a grand jury that saw the evidence and was like, yeah, this dude needs to be indicted. And grand juries are just everyday Americans. It's actually more common. It's more common to get called for grand jury duty than it is to get called for jury duty. Because grand juries are actually, like, despite the name, it's actually, like, a much lower bar. Like, they're just looking at it and being like, is this worth calling an actual jury? Is this worth going to an actual trial? It's not even determining guilt or innocence. It's just like, is there enough here to press charges?
Mm-hmm.
So grand juries are actually easier to get on than normal juries. So this is just normal, everyday American people. And then he's also on Truth Social. He's been complaining about the judge. I mean, like, oh, yeah, sure, it was randomly selected. And it's like, you got fucking Eileen Cannon in the Florida indictment. Like, come on. If he had control over which judges he was going to get, you really think it would be Eileen Cannon in Florida? Dr. Shisha says, the train freak? No, a train freak. Haven't you heard? We come in 6-packs.
Oh my God.
All right. Anyway, Trump's being an idiot.
We have another.
Yeah, we have Frank
Turek. Wait, I thought we were going to be able to avoid Frank Turek because we managed this long without him. He's usually an early one.
We avoided Sorbo.
We've been avoiding Sorbo a lot lately. Has he been sad?
Yeah, he's been mostly sad, not funny. It's just like, I like, because he also, like, he had that stroke towards the end of Hercules. So, like, there is always that question of, like, is he saying this because he sincerely believes it? Or is he, like, is there brain damage stuff going? Like, am I making fun of a mentally disabled person for not being able to figure out that this is due to their mental disability?
I mean, or he knows it, and the cruelty is part and parcel.
Yeah. So anyway, he says, describe the God you rejected, describe the God you don't believe in. Maybe I don't believe in that God either. That's not how atheism works.
I don't believe in a lot of gods. That I mean, I'm only a local atheist. I have like if I'm looking at like specific philosophical terms,
Yeah,
I'd be a local atheist to a wide variety of gods.
So my response to this is describe the god you do believe in, and I will explain why I don't believe in that god. Because, like, yeah, no, there's so many different concepts of what God even is that this is an impossible task. I can't describe them all. However, if you describe a god to me, I can probably tell you why I don't accept the idea that that god exists.
It's so if I say to Frank Turek, I don't believe in an all good, all powerful, all knowing God. I don't believe in that God. I believe that God is a series of contradictions. Would Tim Keller or Frank Turek, either of them, respond honestly with, I don't believe in that God either?
Probably
Is
not.
that what would happen?
No.
Okay, cool.
They don't respond honestly.
I mean, in general, would they respond with they don't believe in an all good, all powerful God either? Also, train freak on my end. Thank you for redeeming your points for all wall. I don't think they would do that.
Turek is the last one today. Do I normally call him Frank, and this time I called him Turek, so just alphabetically he ended up last?
Maybe.
All right. So that's it for tonight. Thank you so much for joining me. My partner just showed up with ice cream, so I gotta go.
Ice cream is very important.
Yeah.
Fuck politics. Ice cream.
So, as always, fuck off.